Hello to all my midlifers. I'm stuck at work again. It's nearly midnight. I should get home about 4 a.m. and then I have baby at 6 a.m. So if you know a little bit about me, I watch my granddaughter in the morning while my daughter goes to work. I hope you can't hear all that forklift traffic. I am a factory worker. And while I have this free time, I was thinking a lot recently about 7 things I wish I would have learned at school when I was in school. Things I wish they would have taught. Time management is number one. I never really have been fantastic at prioritizing tasks. I always get everything done. I'm a big list maker, but it's always been a struggle. I've never been fantastic with time management. I've always worked a couple jobs. I have 5 kids. I have grandkids. I do great, from my 30s probably on, but I wish I would have gotten a better start. And a time management class probably would have taught me a lot, and managing schedules along the same lines, just managing everything that you have to get done in a day as an adult. I wish they would have taught that at school. We'd be ahead of the game a little bit. I wish they taught finances, taxes. Budgeting would have been a huge one for me in my youth. I really wish they would have taught that. The basics of loans, savings, investing. I am over 50 and I am just starting to teach myself about investing. I live paycheck to paycheck. It's a horrible thing. It's a horrible feeling. It's a bad place to be, and I know there's millions of us that live like this. It was my choices. It was my lack of knowledge. I smoked cigarettes for 24 years, so if I had put every dime I put into cigarettes, or in my young years when I consumed a lot of alcohol, if I would have put all of those dollars into some good investments, and I had known how to do that, and I didn't wait till 50, almost 3 years old to even start learning, I would have been so far. And stresses with my parents wouldn't have been a stress. Making my mortgage payment wouldn't have been a big deal. If I had just done that and known that. And I wish that was taught in schools. It's so important, and nobody was there to teach me. I'm going to be there to teach my people. That's the lucky part. Is everything I'm learning now I can share, and I have time to do that, and I can't wait to do that. I'm going to enlist my daughter to be learning more with me now that I'm getting a little bit of a handle on it. My granddaughter's going to know these things. All my grandkids are going to know these things. I can start programs with them. I can start investing for them. I'm not going to have much to leave. I don't even think I'll ever retire. So, as far as leaving these kids with something awesome to work with, I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to do that. I hope that I can. My goal is that happens. But for myself, for my thoughts, for my future, I don't see it happening. So finance, investing, I really wish they would have taught that in school. And that also starts with credit, managing your credit. I have great credit, but it was all self-taught. It was all trial and error. Had I learned that and just started off on the right foot, it's always good. It's always going to be better. I also wish I would have learned more about family maintenance. Running a home, running a family. I did well. I think I did well. I raised 5 children and had myself and my husband. Before I got divorced, but we lived on $29,000 a year, and I managed a home. Buying a home with that, I managed the food. We didn't have the kids in any activities. We couldn't afford it. Like, I made the activities. I made the fun. I made the chore list. I did all the stuff. I could have always done that better. I apologize to my grown children now. There's so many things I could have done better. I wish I had. Can't beat myself up about it. I think I did the best I can with what I had. And, they know that. I don't have children with much resentment. I have children with a lot of stories. They act like torture happened, but it didn't happen. So I love my people. I did the best I could, and they recognize that in me. Number 4 would have been that I wish they taught managing mental health, setting boundaries. I would not have been married as long as I would. I may have never gotten married had I known how to set healthy boundaries. Anger management. We always can use that. I don't know anybody who doesn't get upset about things, and we need to know how to manage that. Anxiety is something I never really suffered until I was in my 50s, and now with this multi-layer that I deal with the granddaughter and my adult children and my parents in bad health, I have a lot of anxiety. Even about finances, I have a ton of anxiety about that. Burnout. I wish they would teach about burnout, how to, and I guess that goes along with boundaries, is how to set up so you only do what you can do, that burnout I wish wasn't a thing, but I experience it sometimes. That's why I take a few minutes for myself. And self-care, I wish they would have taught that in school. That would have been a great thing for me to learn. I didn't have that example of self-care in home. My mom wasn't there, my dad wasn't there. I just didn't have it. Conflict resolution would have been a great thing. I went to counseling like forever. I love counseling. It's great for me. It's been great for me. I know a lot of people don't believe in it, or maybe they've had an experience that isn't great. I've always had good counselors, and I am receptive to learning and changing me. I'm receptive to that, and that's what makes counseling good. So conflict resolution would have been a great thing to learn in school. Number 5 would have been communication. Learning how to actively listen. Now, I'm pretty good at that, but it took me a long time to get pretty good at that. It was probably more in my 40s, or probably mid to late 30s, when I really started hearing people. Active listening, really tuning in. And it's important. It's an important life skill. Conflict resolution, of course, for communication. And speaking with a goal. Really saying what you mean meaning what you say, sticking to your guns with that. I'm terrible at that. I'm terrible with that. I'm not very people-y person. I'm not really great at it. So speaking with a goal, I'm kind of a passive speaker. I'm an active listener, but I'm a passive speaker, and that's something I need to work on still, even in my 50s. Number 6 would have been first aid. I wish they would do some basic first aid in school. Heimlich maneuver, CPR, any emergency response other than 911. I know 911's awesome, and they really push that, and for most age groups that's pretty effective. But I've had a home fire before, and luckily no one was home. But what if my children had been? And would they have known the best response? They were teenagers at the time, but would they have known had I driven that information in enough where they would have been okay had they been home? I mean, after a lot more counseling, I don't care about the house and the stuff and the starting over. I mean, it still makes me sad all the time. But I worried most about my kids in this time. We lived in a hotel. Just things weren't good. And I'm just so thankful for their safety, because had they not had some good skills and some good processing for that type of emergency, I can't imagine what would happen. And number 7, maybe basic car maintenance. Now, my dad's an auto mechanic, so I don't really have, I guess, the need to know that, and I definitely have a person I can call and ask, and I can run the vehicle over there when he was in good health. And even now, he would walk me through it if I needed something to do, but most children do not have an auto mechanic as their father. So I think that would be great for schools to teach, just checking your oil levels when you can't open the radiator cap because it's going to blow up on you. You're going to get burnt. You're going to get hurt. Changing a tire. I ran into some little girls at the store not that long ago, and they were in the parking lot. They had no idea how to change their tire. And like I said, my dad's an auto mechanic, so I know how to do these things. And that would be scary for 2 little girls to be stuck in a parking lot. They were nowhere near home, like an hour away from their home. They didn't know how to change a tire. So important. These little things that I wish I would have learned at school. These things are really, really important. And so many people don't have a man in their house to walk them through those little things, like changing a tire. So if you have any ideas of what you wish you would have learned at school, that was just a rant about mine, because I sat and thought about it the other day when I was listening to a program about investing. I'm like, wow, I would have been so far had I known any of these life skills. I wish they teach them in school. If you have anything to share with me about some of the programs you had in school, please share them with me in the comments. I'm not a great quick responder to comments, but I do respond. I learned sewing, home ec, things like that in school, and it's awesome. I do sew still in my 50s. There's no problem with home ec. If they're taking that out of school, I hope they put it back. We all need to know how to cook, clean, care for our home properly, care for ourselves. Those are good basic skills. So I hope if they took it out, they put it back. Kind of like cursive writing. If they take it out of schools, I hope they put it right back. It's a life skill we need. So anything to share with me, welcome to my mess. Thank you for listening to my rant while I'm stuck at work for another 4 hours, and I will see you so soon. Bye-bye.